Welcome to Quack Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, and today is just a quick conversation. I want to pose a question to you, a debate that we have in our own game group between Alex, Shira, Devin, West, and myself, and really anyone else we come in contact with. What do you prefer? What draws you into a game first and foremost? Is it theme, or is it mechanics? For myself, it is always flavor text and theme. It's the first thing that digs me into the world and lore. It's the first thing I read in the rulebook. It's what actually makes me pick a game up off the shelf and start exploring it. I want to see that cover art. I want to hear the story. I want to know the faction abilities and almost have my own little universal picture movie playing in the back of my mind while I experience the game. My memory, my interaction, and the way I explore mechanics of games is always through theme, and I'll find that I get hooked up or stumble over a part of a board game that doesn't match mechanically as it does thematically. Like if wood is turning into something that wood doesn't create, or if you should be harvesting but instead you're just sacrificing trees to the, to the dying age of a forest. I don't know what I'm mumbling about. But for me, theme comes first. I want that flavor text, I want that art, I want that story, and then I want a good game after it. But theme can sway me to believe that a game is better because I like the story. And theme can pull me out of a game that's mechanically really solid because I don't like the theme. I can think of a few games that I absolutely love mechanically, and because the theme isn't there for me, it's harder for me to enjoy the play experience. Conversely, is it mechanics for you? As it is for Alex and Shira in a lot of ways. Are they the things that draw you in? When you hear deck builder, worker placement, Euro, or Ameritrash, when you hear about cooperative or solo, are those the things that start pulling you in? Asymmetric player powers, terminology that deals with dice rolling or dice worker placement or roll and write or flip to move or whatever it is. I understand that as well. I mean, the point of games is twofold. Solve a puzzle, do this little data algorithm thing in a lot of your Euro games, or tell a story. And I want to go on the adventure. I want to go explore the story. I want to become the best sheep farmer of the era. Some people, they want to challenge themselves. For Shira, it's about challenging her. She wants to play the hardest games in the industry, theme aside, the best mechanics. She wants to dig back into games that have systems and operations that allow her to run numbers and crunch data and prove her acumen above everyone else at the table. Now, I like that as well. I enjoy deck builders. They're some of my favorites. I will be drawn to a game if it presents the opportunity for asymmetric player powers, mostly because I think that there's probably cool stories behind each faction, but also because those type of mechanics are fun to explore. But mechanics, even bad ones, can be covered up by theme for me. And great mechanics are not enough for me to love a game. It has to be merged with that other little extra piece. Now, the games that I love the most, of course, combine them both, and that's not the conversation I'm asking for. That's not what I'm talking about. Look at Bus, my favorite game of all time, my number one. Bus is sitting there with some of the most elegant design I have ever experienced in a board game, paired with something that reminds me of the Magic School Bus back in my day. It's that cover art, it's the time travel, it's the way that you manipulate the track. Now, it could have been a giant miss for me on the theme. Or the mechanics could not have been as solid and elegant as they are. Honestly, Dominant Species would be an example of that. Similar system, not quite as elegant, and the theme isn't quite as intriguing. It doesn't have that nostalgia factor for me, so it doesn't rank quite as high. Or Kingdom Death, a game that I was absorbed in the lore, art, and style of long before I was there for the board game or the gameplay. And there's quirks to Kingdom Death. Mechanically, it's an incredible game, but also not perfect for a lot of people. I'm willing to overlook some of those little quirks, those details. It's not always the most elegant. It's not always the most straightforward. But I'm willing to skirt around that because I love the story it tells. What's that for you? What games out there are mechanics first and foremost? You honestly don't like the theme at all, and the mechanics sell it for you. Baseball Highlights would be one of those for me. I don't care for the theme, which means while it's a really, really, really good deck-building game, I don't ever play it. I never get it off the shelf. I really don't have a desire to, but I've enjoyed every time I have, which is weird. Or Viral from Arcane Wonders. That's a game that, mechanically, one of the most fun, little, lightweight, approachable area control games I've ever played. And then you look at the artwork and the theme and the style, and it just doesn't do it for me. Sub that out with classic dwarves and elves, mix in some fantasy creatures or just spacefaring technology, and I'm there. And I would probably not put down that game. But I am theme over mechanics. So, what are your thoughts? Where do you lie? Where's our audience pulled on this? Theme or mechanics? Or a strong hybrid of both? But if it is a hybrid of both, justify why and how it is. Will one not beat out the other? Does one not sway you in one direction? It's certainly not the case with me, and I know it's not the case with Shira either. We're each on the other side of this conversation, which means we're a good team, but also means that we have to find the perfect game for us to sit down and play. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.